Imogen McCready, Rupert McNinn, Katie McNiven, Georgina Mead, Arabella Methuen, Marianne Muirland-Lewis, Tia Payuk, Georgia Patton, Anna Pilcher, Clemens Prime, Hannah Purdom, Kiwi Reynolds, Serena Richards, Evie Rowan, Leo Sartain, Charles Sutton, Izzy Stannett, Grace Strassen, Imogen Singh Taylor, Ellie Tan, Ariana Tejada, Ignacio Ortiz, Alexandra Van Tibor, Katie Webster, Maria Whitby, Annie Whitson, Harriet Wilson, Kate Windsor, Holly Wrench, Shinyi Young, Alexander Young,
I call upon Professor Tessa Giblin, Director of the University's Talbot Rice Gallery, to present a candidate for an honorary degree.
Madam Vice-Chancellor, in the name and by the authority of the Senatus Academicus, I have the honour to present for the degree of Doctor Honoris Causa, Professor Charles William Escher. A great work of art is never exhausted. Of all the inspiring, motivating, rallying and provocative things I've heard Professor Charles Escher say, this is the one that is still stuck to my office wall as a faded post-it. A great work of art is never exhausted. It speaks directly to his belief in the capacity of an artwork to absorb meaning, transmit messages, and evolve alongside the complex web of institutions that surround and feed them. And it's a good thing that a great work of art is not going to be exhausted, as there's much work to be done to decolonize our museums, universities, and public spaces, work which Professor Escher has been instrumental at advancing through his pioneering focus on demodernizing. This is the aspiration of his curatorial practice, captured by his forthcoming book, De-Modern Thinking, and something that, yes, we and you all are a part of too. Charles Escher is a truly inspirational leader in the curatorial field, over a career that has spanned the world, but has important roots here in Edinburgh, where he also has a family home. He established the experimental Proto Academy here at Edinburgh College of Art, and 20 years later he is Professor of Curating and Contemporary Art at the University of the Arts in London, an advisor at the Jan van Eyck Academy in Maastricht, the current board member of Sonspeak, and part of the advisory board of Documenta. For more than 20 years, he has led one of Europe's most prestigious and loved museums, the Van Abbe Museum in the Dutch city of Eindhoven, packed full of artistic treasures that he has shown, celebrated, but also interrogated, even held accountable, in the context of world histories and legacies of global colonial expansion. Prescient and reactive, one of his major museum exhibition projects, Becoming Dutch, curated with Annie Fletcher, explored in real time tensions and frictions that exist in the Netherlands and which we can fully recognize in our own context, where cultural and economic engines are fueled by immigration and exchange, but surrounded by rising nationalism and conflict. And during this time, I've recently learned, Charles started on his road to actually becoming Dutch. Some get tattoos to embody their exhibitions. Charles took a nationality. The elasticity of his curatorial practice that is endlessly experimented around the collections of the Van Abbe Museum has also been released with an infectious energy and ambition at the world's largest and most prestigious biennales, Sao Paulo, Istanbul, Gwangju, as well as Jakarta and Ljubljana. And even on that scale of exhibition, he's not risk-averse. He will sow the seeds of multiple, frighteningly complex artworks simultaneously while negotiating state politics, the media, philanthropic interests and collections firmly from the camp of the artists he works with. As not every museum director who establishes a network of major European institutions, as the Internationale, or who moves heaven and earth to take a Picasso to Palestine, but Charles did. Because, as my post-it reads, a great work of art is never exhausted. Although much of what is celebrated about Professor Escher has happened during his museum and biennale career, he remains supportive of grassroots organizations and ecologies of art. When curating the Gwangju Biennale with Hu Han-ru, they reconstructed artist-run spaces from across Europe and Asia, including Edinburgh's Proto Academy and Glasgow's artist-run space, Transmission. And I suspect Charles would encourage you all, with a huge grin, to dive into these ecologies and make the future of art and culture your own. Professor Charles Escher is quite simply one of the greats in our field, groundbreaking, risk-taking, relentlessly committed to demodernizing and helping us to imagine the world differently. He has been an inspiring figure for curators emerging after him, an ally for artists, and a trusted disruptor for his own peers. Madam Vice-Chancellor, I now invite you to confer on Professor Charles William Escher the degree of Doctor Honoris Causa.
By the authority vested in me, I admit you to the degree.
Gosh, that was a lot of words. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Vice-Chancellor, and thank you, Tessa, for that wonderful laudatio. I'm quite moved. I hope I might say a few words about museums in these times. I have to say it is very special for me to receive this honorary doctorate from the University of Edinburgh. The city means a great deal to me and has been my base, home base more or less, since 1993. If I had had the option, I would have become Scottish, but that isn't an option that's available, unfortunately. Maybe in the future. But this award does feel a kind of homecoming, as well as a challenge for a new start. if I can say a little about museums, universities and art, museums are often seen as holders of public memory through the objects in their collections, but perhaps they're more accurately described as places for the public to bring shared traditions and understandings together and where identities can be built. And these places are equally possibly where those traditions and identities can be renewed and emerge into public discourse. Now, we live in polarized times, in times of public intolerance towards difference, which is often based on ideas, fantasies, you could say, of tradition and identity that no longer fit the needs of the 21st century. I've seen all of you graduating here from all over Europe and Asia and elsewhere in the world. And how does that fit with the rhetorics of politics, the rhetorics that we have in a country like the United Kingdom? So, how do we emerge out of those tensions, where some things are fixed while other things are moving so fast? I think for us in the West, for people with my body, my gender, it means tackling colonial cruelties and exploitations. It means restitution in the museum's case, and returning works that were stolen or expropriated over many centuries. But more than this, it means that museums, with their artworks, can play a role in seeking to repair social relations and build empathy for difference and disagreement. Yes, it means recognizing when the system of coloniality, modernity, that's a word we need to unpack in all our universities, I think, but that intimate relationship between the colonial and the modern, for a modern art museum, is absolutely fundamental. And we need to unpack that coloniality, modernity, and what it brought to the world in all its guises, and learn how to make use of it, how to make use of the past to create better possibilities for the present. To do that, we need art, and we need artists. We need the journey that you are going on, if you're an artist or an art historian or somebody who's thinking about art. We need that to change those traditions and identities. Without art, without the capacity of the imagination, not only your imagination, but transmitting your imagination to somebody else, so they can imagine your imagination and therefore understand and build empathy for somebody else, not only for themselves. That's the capacity that art has. It's the capacity that comes together in a nexus of art, which creates the imagination that makes things possible, universities, which create the ideas that museums can spread to the world through their public role. And it is this coalition between artists, museums, and universities that I believe can release so much positive into a world where there is so much negativity. Now, that's a big burden for some of you who are artists, who have trained as artists here, or as art historians. That's where I come from. But it's a burden that we have to accept because it's our responsibility. And I hope that you can all do this. I have to say I see this happening around me. I see it here in the way that Tessa is leading the Talbot Rice Gallery. And I would like to congratulate her for her program these last difficult years. And I hope that you will visit the Talbot Rice Gallery while you're here. I'd also see it in what my friends Annie Fletcher and in Dublin and Alistair Hudson in Manchester are doing when they are setting about transforming what art museums can mean in and for their locations and their communities. In these terms, I take the very kind words that Tessa said and throw it back at you, at the people who I work with in the Van Abbe Museum, at the people in the Internationale Confederation of European Museums. It is your support and inspiration that has inspired me, and if I can pay a little bit of that back today, then I would be very grateful. Thank you.
I call again upon Professor Heather Pulliam.
Madam Vice Chancellor, in the name and by the authority of the Senatus Academicus, I have the honor to present for the degree of Masters of Arts with honors in History of Art and Architectural History, Abby Bryant. So, demoiselles, Charlotte Lumby, India Ross, Cordelia Swift, Lydia Tooth, and with honors in History of Art and English Literature, Dominic Bannister, Rory Carter Motley, Anna Hall, Rosie Harrison Nirwan, Eva Rogers, Sasha Tayar Barnes, Cecilia Thornett, Tate Turnbull, Maisie Will, Georgia Wright, Eve Young, Madam Vice Chancellor, in the same authority, in the same name and by the same authority, I have the honor to present for the degree of the Doctor of Philosophy, Aloise Bennett. Baram Lee, Angelique Rousseau, Danielle Smith, Andrew Simmons, Irene Walsh, Madam Vice Chancellor, in the name and by the authority of the Senatus Academicus, I have the honor to present for the degree of Masters of Arts with honors in History of Art and Music, Lucy Welsh.
I call upon Professor Juan Cruz, Principal of Edinburgh College of Art.
Madam Vice Chancellor, in the name and by the authority of the Senatus Academicus, I have the honour to present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts with honours in Intermediate Art, Ellie Bartlett. Angharad Blundell. Olivia Brown. Madeline Hibbins Klein. Ellie Ibbotson. Katrina McClay. Amir McClay. Ross MacDonald. Millie Player.
Congratulations, Millie, well done.
Lucas Priest.
Congratulations, well done.
Jamie Rigg.
Congratulations, Jamie, well done.
Felicity Scott.
Congratulations, Felicity.
Gillian Carroll Shearer.
Congratulations, Gillian.
Saffron Slater.
Congratulations, Saffron, well done.
Jamie Spillett.
Congratulations, well done.
Kat Stanley.
Congratulations, well done.
Eve Whiston.
Congratulations, Eve, well done.
And with honours in painting, Jessica Austin.
Congratulations, Jessica.
Eva Batisova.
Congratulations, well done.
Timothy Betton.
Congratulations, Timothy.
Lauren Black.
Congratulations, Lauren.
Olivia Anna Bowden.
Congratulations, well done.
Agnes Brooks Sulman.
Congratulations, Agnes.
Lauren Bullock.
Congratulations, Lauren.
Fife Daly.
Congratulations, Fife, well done.
Pollyanna Esser.
Congratulations, Pollyanna.
Rachel Glenn.
Congratulations, Rachel.
Lucy Hatton.
Congratulations, Lucy.
Libby Hickson.
Congratulations, Libby.
Ros Hinton.
Congratulations, Ros, well done.
Rachel Hutchinson.
Congratulations, Rachel.
Emma Kaiser.
Congratulations, Emma.
Lynn Weichi.
Congratulations, well done.
Shoyan Leo.
Congratulations, well done.
Phoebe Logan.
Congratulations, Phoebe.
Maya Mackenzie.
Congratulations, Maya.
Mari Maxwell.
Congratulations, well done.
Anna McPhail.
Congratulations, Anna.
Chloe Neary.
Congratulations, Chloe.
Katie Nelthorpe.
Congratulations, Katie.
Leanne Ryan.
Congratulations, well done.
Emily Seville.
Congratulations, Emily.
Brodie Thompson.
Congratulations, Brodie.
And with honours in photography, Imani Dar.
Congratulations, well done.
Lowry Evans.
Congratulations, well done.
Claudie Fleming.
Congratulations, well done.
Sasha Height. Phoebe James. Katrina Mackenzie. Ella Moore Hughes. Amanda Webber. And with honours in sculpture, Christian Bajanaru. Matilda Bird. Francis Bernard Stewart. Fred Connor. Maddie Howden. Isabel Leonard. Tim Milner. Lucy Mulholland. Rebecca Ryan. Stanley Smith. Izzy Williams.
I now invite the graduation choir, conducted again by Callum Robertson, to perform I Fond Kiss and the 100 Pipers. Thank you once again, choir. Thank you, Callum. I call again upon Professor Juan Cruz.
Madam Vice-Chancellor, in the same name and by the same authority, I have the honour to present, for the degree of Master of Arts with Honours in Fine Art, Francis Driscoll. Isabel Duffy. Rhiannon Ferguson. Hannah Grist. Olivia Humphrey. Isabella Inskip. Misra Kara. Emma Lake. Imogen Lucis Zahowska. Amelia Morgan. Ophélie Napoli. Danny Rothman. Mia Sakamoto. Madam Vice-Chancellor, in the same name and by the same authority, I have the honour to present the degree of Master of Fine Art in Contemporary Art Practice, Victoria Callanan. Madam Vice-Chancellor, in the same name and by the same authority, I have the honour to present for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Jude Browning. Jennifer Thatcher. Jake Watts.
I call upon Mr. Mal Birkinshaw, Head of the ECA School of Design.
Madam Vice-Chancellor, in the name and by the authority of the Senatus Academicus, I have the honour to present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Animation, Patrick Cahoon. Jason Galatinsky. Daisy Hutchins. Anna McDougall. Daniel O'Reilly. Leo Tam. Faye Wallace. And with honours in fashion, Celia Birchall. Ellie Butler. Katie Christie. Elle Cundall. Eve Fallon. Sophia Gillespie. Kiara Jack. Izzy Jones. Katharina Nathan. Esther Nixon. Ella Parr. Christopher Reed. Emily Renee Ricordo. Sang Ching. Amelia C. Rowan Stallon. Isabel Taylor. May Taylor. Robin Taylor. Chenwei Yuan. Yue Xuan. And with honours in film and television, Lucia Brady. Roberto Campioni. Libby Carpenter. Jacob Gandhi. Esme Lily Hadrill Selman.